YouTube audience. Being a person inclined to ponder, I have been, well, pondering. As my little title sequence to this video suggests, I am a fan of Professor Sir Terence David John Pratchett, OBE, PhD, 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 PhD. Honorary doctorates from several universities. Many fans of Sir Terry have met him at book signings and other occasions, such as talks that he gives. In my case, it was at the World Science Fiction Convention 1987. This was held in the Metropole, I'll say that again, in the Metropole Hotel in Brighton, which is right next door to the Grand Hotel, which that year had just been reopened after having been rebuilt following the IRA's attempt to blow up Thatcher and her government. Every science fiction convention, particularly the World Science Fiction Conventions, are called Con something. Conflagration and so on and so forth. In this particular case, it was called Conspiracy. And it was reported in the conference that one of the organisers had had to spend a little time explaining to the local watchman why there was a folder on the seat of his car with conspiracy in large letters on the front of it. Sir Terry was kind enough at the time to sign my hard-backed conference programme, which I have here, naturally enough. I remember him as a somewhat self-effacing, polite, congenial man who basically was very pleased for any attention he could get at the time. And here we have his signature in my book. Okay, here's a slightly less wobbly shot of the signatures in my conference programme. And here is a little detail showing Terry Pratchett underneath Harryhausen and next to Fred Pohl. Now, I know I'm probably making more of a fuss of this than I need to, but actually I'm quite chuffed about getting that signature, and all the rest of the signatures in that particular book. About which I was pretty pleased. I had discovered his writing about a year previously, and had read The Colour of Magic and The Light Fantastic in quick succession, and then had to wait nearly a year until Equal Rights came out, and had started reading Equal Rights just before this convention. Unfortunately, I'd left it at home, and not intentionally, I had intended to take it with me, so I didn't have the copy to get signed. I was very pleased to have got the signature of what I saw as a new British writer, not knowing at the time that he'd been writing for some time, and had written, in fact, Strata, Dark Side of the Sun, and The Carpet People already. So those wonders still awaited me. Now, I don't know if it's because I did meet him, or because of the way that he writes in a kind of very personally honest style. But it always feels like I'm reading a letter from a very dear friend, albeit a long, very entertaining letter with lots of interesting characters, quite a lot of gags, and increasingly in the later books, a well-developed plot. Talking to other fans, I get the sense that it doesn't matter if someone's been to a book signing or not, or if they've just read his books. Fans talk about him as if they were talking about an old, dear friend. We also have to mention Sir Terry's Alzheimer's. And I have a feeling that Sir Terry's fans are working through how they feel about that, as much as Sir Terry is working about how he feels about it. As if they were thinking about a dear old friend. We're noticing the changes and worrying about him a little. The long pauses in his speech, the very deliberate speech. The answers that were very carefully thought out, very well developed, but somehow are, although in the ballpark of the question that was asked, not quite addressing the specific question. And as I say, we're kind of worrying about him as we would worry about an old friend. We also notice him that he's been very courageous. He's grasping the nettle firmly, as he has one of his characters do in books. And we're also noticing talking about Alzheimer's, funding research into Alzheimer's, talking about physician-assisted death. I found myself wondering the other day, what makes Sir Pterry's fans different from other fans? And in my head, I was comparing Sir Pterry to J.K. Rowling, which has been done before, sometimes kindly, sometimes not so kindly. When I read the latter, which I also enjoy, I do like the Harry Potter books, I don't feel the same way about the person who's writing. It's entertaining, at times it's funny. Sometimes I hear echoes of the Discworld there, and sometimes the reverse. I sometimes see echoes of Harry Potter in the Discworld books. It's exciting, and all the rest of the things that you would expect from a good book. But I don't feel like I'm close to the person writing. When I read Sir Pterry's books, I do feel close to the person who's writing. And this leads me to think some other things. Firstly, I don't think Sir Pterry Pratchett really does have fans. I think his books have made him millions and millions of friends. And I have a feeling that those millions of friends are going to be with him right to the end. And you could almost say that narrative causality demands it.